Tree. Oh, hello there to all,
Mhm.
out
Top
there. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we are back.
bottom of the morning, top of the after, almost top of the afternoon.
Yeah, we almost there. 59 minutes to being at the top of the afternoon. This is Heyward CPA Live, the official podcast of the firm. Heyward CPA, sponsored by, presented by. So it's going down. Oh yeah, we ain't even do I could do my commercials off the top, so it's all good. Almost
Yeah,
forgot about
yeah.
that.
We
Talk about
we, we got some. We got we have another. Don't worry, we're gonna pay some other bills too. Some other commercials.
Oh yeah, somebody coming in here today, aren't they?
No. I just got it. I got a official commercial to do. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
So do that.
That's
Um,
cool. That's cool. So anyhow, good people, we are back. We are back. We have our digital street team in effect.
morning. Good morning. There we go. Good
There you go.
morning.
Digital street team. So been a lot of streaming. I've been doing a lot of streaming, even since last time I was on here.
Yeah,
Been doing all this DJ streaming, man.
yeah. How's that going, man? You know what I'm saying? You livening up the place?
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's been fun. And it's also been like making me clean up my act to make this broadcast crisper.
Right.
So we want to get good across the line. So um look at that. But just a quick plug at top of the hour. Every Sunday, 7 to 9. I'm gonna try the Twitch thing tomorrow. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to get the Twitch thing because I got some people that they not on the TikTok, so they want to
Right.
see. I already had a Twitch thing. We here, man. So we doing that. We doing this, and then I know you got what you got going on. You gonna talk about, you know.
Yeah. So we got. I think I announced it the last time, but we got conversations with Cole coming up. We're gonna have some blended segments on there. So we have the Beyond Next segment with our co-hosts. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? J.
yes.
Hayward.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
um,
oh
you
yeah.
know, my other two warriors, 300 warriors,
Yeah.
Mark Aurelius and and
Yes.
and and L.J. Brooks. You know what I mean?
You mean the Bernie Mac of finance, baby. The Bernie
Right.
Mac, baby.
Then we got corner talks. You know, those are little
Oh,
moments. You know, where
oh,
we kind of wrap up some things.
okay.
I even got a segment in there with my legacy talks, right, with my sons. You know what I
Okay.
mean? We're trying to split conversations with Cole off into other areas that actually make a difference as we go through business conversations. Because it's all business, everything is relative. But the most important piece is that
Nice.
business doesn't get done without all the other components and annoyances and real life situations, right? So you don't
Absolutely.
want to keep it authentic and real. And I yield back from there.
You back on that. All right. So that's it. So basically, so what but we're here today once again. I actually have some pretty good catchphrases and new things. The kind of point the position that we're doing here on this channel and what we hear underlying is we're here to build better businesses, people. That's what we're here for. So we come on here every Saturday, every other Saturday morning to talk about business and in the aggregate, not just accounting. Because the reason why, yeah, I need to pull up my little statement. Where did it go? The reason why this is pretty good, but it's a reason. Because there's so many people out here trying. All I'm hearing is this: people want to start businesses. There's people in business. Everybody that starts thinks they're in business. But what I realize is a lot of people don't even realize what they're doing. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying they're not really understanding like the total of it, what it takes to do this. And
Mhm.
you know, I think it's one thing to say, all right, check this out. This came up in something else. I don't even remember what I was doing. I don't even remember. Oh, it was the pitch that I was putting into another platform. That's where it came from. So, I'm just gonna say our founding message here.
Mhm.
So, editor, we edit right here. We're gonna start here with edit. Heyward CPA PLLC, founded by James E. Heyward. The E is for effervescent. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, oh,
is is an advisory
man,
focused.
this how the day is gonna go. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, you gotta see how it is. So, is an advisory focused accounting and tax firm that works with small businesses and individuals in underserved communities. We aim to help clients achieve their goals by telling the story of their business through financial data. That's what we do. That was pretty good. I came up with that, right? So, and so part of that, we telling stories. So we come on here every other Saturday to tell stories. We're here to tell stories. We tell stories to help people be better business people. Become a better business person. Watch Heyward CPA live. That's my joint.
Yeah,
Become
can you add a tail to the end of that?
what the build no what become a better business person.
No, I
No.
just want to add a little tail end to that to your effervescent speech.
Oh nah, yeah, go ahead. I'm
All
just,
roads lead back to the professional focus, vision, and mission of Heyward CPA of uh, advising in taxes and other areas of life, both business and personal, especially if you're a business person, because the great USA was built on business, and that's how
yeah,
business is done. So you want proper advisory, you want to understand how a system works and how a process works, and you're committed to to feeling what the process is and knowing what it looks like. Again, jump on over to
no,
heywardcpa.com, schedule your consultation with us.
yeah,
Send questions to podcast at heywardcpa.com.
yep. So that's on the tip. That's on the advertisement tip.
Okay.
But it's just I thought it was interesting to try to put it out here and say, look, this is what we're doing. So some people probably, because I know taxes and accounting, there's almost like they're bad words until you need them.
Yeah,
Then when you need them, then it's on. It's like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, what's up with that? So
yeah, yeah.
you know that's how that's going down. So yeah, I just wanted the people to know that. That's all. I yield. I
We
yield back.
yield back.
But we got a book. We should be up to. What's our book for the week?
So
Yeah.
our book for the week is Your Next Five Moves by
Okay.
Patrick Bet Patrick Bet David. And
Uh,
by the way, this is not sponsored by him at all. None of these books are sponsored by anyone. We are utilizing these books to provide additional insight and conversation points to lead you back to home base, which is planning, strategy, and execution.
absolutely.
So, um, this book is really about thinking ahead, right? So, your next five moves, what does that even look like in your life, business and life? Because they're all tied together, nothing is separate, right?
Mhm.
Um, we talked about in the previous episodes, this book kind of ties up, I guess, that segment. And I think there's other books that's going to keep tying it all together. But remember, we talked about, for those that was with us, we talked about seeing around corners, right? Which is
Mhm.
one book, right? We talked about scenarios. Then what got you here won't get you there,
Mhm.
right? And then who moved my cheese, right? And so, each of those books taught us something about um, critical thinking, right? And anticipating change, shedding limiting beliefs, right? And then being able to adapt quick and fast, right? And so now, once you've done all of those things, what's next? And so that's where your next 5 moves comes in at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Planning the next 5 moves strategically. And that's something that we talk about here at the firm. It's something that we demonstrate with our clients as well. Is strategic moves. What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Is the paramount question for everyone, right? And so it's not just about being reactive, because filing taxes is reactive. It's an afterthought because the action has already been taken, right? This strategically is about orchestrating what it is you're trying to achieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some core breakdowns, man. You want me to yield back? You got any questions or thoughts, real quick?
You said some core KOR breakdowns.
There you go. Core right there. You know what I'm saying?
You roll with it.
Move number 1. There's a couple of different moves, right? You got to know yourself. Self-awareness is a strategy all by itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you got to understand what you're driven by. You know what I mean? Are you driven by fear? Are you driven by purpose, validation, or legacy? If you can tap into what those motives are, why you're doing what you're doing, now you can align with those those thoughts, right? Those feelings, those expectations, and then your needs. And then professional. When you reach out to professionals, they can understand where you're coming from, what your motives are, right?
Yep. No doubt.
How is that related to what got you here won't get you there? You can't grow if you're blind to who you are, right? So that's how that relates. Yeah, that's how. Well, in our advisories, in our consultations, with clients, right? A lot of what we want to know is, what got you here, what are you trying to achieve, and what do you need, right?
Absolutely.
And if you're blind to yourself, you're blind to your situation, there becomes unreasonable expectations of, you guys are my accounting CPA firm, or you my business coach and my consultant and advisor. I need you to tell me what to do, and that doesn't work, right? So so here's a question for our listeners. Here's something for you to ponder. How often do you confuse ambition with what actually fulfills you?
Now that's interesting. Hey, we need to talk on that one.
And then let me get the second part of that question, right? What happens when we chase the wrong metrics?
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good one. We got the bottom of the hour on that. Wait, but is that number 3?
That's number 1. Now I'm giving you core moves. That's number 1.
Oh, well, so ambition. What was it? How do you confuse ambition with what?
What actually fulfills you?
With what actually fulfills you? Wow, that's heavy. I guess we gotta step back and say ambition. What define ambition? I guess is wanting something, wanting more. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah,
wanting more.
Yep.
So we define ambition as wanting more.
It's a strong desire, right, to achieve something, right, through hard work and determination.
Okay.
Right.
But they may not fulfill you.
Right. Yeah, I want $1 million house, but I got 5 jobs to pay for that house. Right. Ambition. You want $1 million house, that's the ambition. Right.
But
right.
But you're not doing what you want in life to get it.
But you're not to be fulfilled to enjoy that house.
Yeah.
You got 4 jobs.
And If you're doing 5 jobs to buy the house, the chances are the house is empty because you know you put all your personal capital into buying the house. So yo, that's heavy. Almost do the whole. Well, you conversations with Cole on that one. That's
we're gonna expand on that through because we go deep in conversation with Cole. So we're gonna plug some of these episodes into that and we'll go deep into the conversation.
Yeah, that's serious. Now, what was that part 2 of that? Part 2 was
reasonable strategy.
A reasonable strategy to get
thinking moves, not moments. Because when you think in moments, those moments are fleeting like feelings.
Well, they're unfulfilling too.
Correct. So if you think in moves, not moments, it's almost like saying, all right, I know what I got in my head to do for the day, but one thing can deter you from following your to-do list on your calendar. So you put everything you need on your calendar. So when you look at your calendar is strategically reminding you of your obligations or things that you got to take care of at specific times, right? So thinking moves, not moments. All right, let me set this, let me set that. And that's why one of the underlying statements is focus on building systems, not goals. But I kind of revert to that. I say, look, folks, set a goal, but set the goal, forget about the goal, but set the systems according to the goal and only focus on the system, right? Yeah. And that's the journey of learning what the systems is, because you don't just wake up like that. You know what I mean? You don't just gravitate to, I'm gonna put a system in place, and there's a lot of information out there, people talking about you could do this, you can achieve this, you could be this if you do this and you do that. But it's got to align with who you are, what you're trying to achieve, that system, right? Yeah. So that's thinking in moves, not moments, right? Be able to anticipate what the chain reaction is going to be. So, like, when we talk about our front end part of the business, right? So from new business, from prospects, from people interested in us, right, to new business, having those conversations, and then what are going to be the triggers that's going to trigger the system to act on our behalf, so we don't have to put in a lot more labor hours to execute those things to get information to the people, right? Mm-hmm. And so, what's going to, so again, you can relate that to what you have to do, right? Anticipating your chain reaction. So that's related to seeing around corners, right? To recognize inflection points in our process.
I see. You're very deep this morning. Very deep.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
But it's pertinent. I got my retorts. Not retorts.
Yeah, I got you. It's it's every day for me though, right? Because it's you're carrying some stuff, man, and so you got to dig every day. Basically, what's your 1% every day for improvement? The more you stay on it, the more it gets better. It gets better. It don't get easier. You just know how to. You just get better at dealing with it, right? Yeah. And so all right, enough of that. Now here's the question for the people on move number 2. What happens when you operate on gut alone and fail to anticipate any fallouts that comes along the way?
All right, so let's recap. All that was under move number 2.
That was move number 2.
Well, wait, rewind. What was move number 2 per the book?
Reason with yourself strategically.
Okay. So incidentally, all the extra was quartastic isms put on top. So
remember, I was relating it to the book, to the previous book,
I know,
right?
I'm just saying.
Corners, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's some flavor in there.
There's some flavor. Yeah, no, it's definitely some flavor. So,
you know what I mean?
So reasoning was strategic. I get that. So the question is reasoning strategically.
Right. So what happens when you operate on gut alone right? And you fail to anticipate fallout, right? So
That's
seeing
right.
around corners, what got you here won't get you there, right? So that's if you operating on gut alone, you're not seeing around corners. You're not realizing what got you here won't get you there. You thinking that what got you here is going to get you there too, right? And even to who moved my cheese when we talked about that on the last episode, right? And it's the more of the story with who moved my cheese. The rats thought the cheese was going to stay in one place, but the people actually said the cheese is diminishing. We got to go find some new cheese.
Mm-hmm. So let me put it
Yeah,
into
do your
my
recap.
blender here.
Yeah,
Oh,
blend
what
it
you
up.
just said. I mean, because these themes repeat themselves. A lot of different sources.
Correct.
One thing, even to take the looking around corners or the operating on your gut. I had the term gut accounting, which I mean, a lot of people do gut accounting. That's what they do. They do gut accounting, but things are constantly changing. So an experience you have is adds to your experience, but that experience is not going to happen again. So by education or metrics or data, now that experience has a greater value because you have that. It's part of you, part of your business DNA now. And now if you have data, you can merge that data with the experience to be able to handle what's coming through, whether it be your cheese being moved or you losing a client or you get a bad review or you have spoilage, you have that. But if you just react emotionally to every event with no reason, no nothing like that, you're just going to be out of control. I mean, it's everything because events are going to happen. I always say that look, in business, something's going to happen. Something's going to go wrong,
Always.
and that's life too. It's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong when you write anything down. I don't care if you're planning a 5-year-old's birthday party. You can write it down to the T. You can say whatever. Something's going to go wrong. Even with the start time. You'll say, we're going to start at 2 p.m. Someone's going to show up at 1:30. And someone's going to show up at 3. You off script right there. But guess what? We're flexible. We manage that in daily life. But people get in business and they lose that ability. They start getting all, emotional. So
But what's one
that's
of the things that we always talk about, right? Is like using that information as data,
yeah.
right? Turning it into data that you can use to because um, um, conflict conflict is not bad conflict based on how you perceive it and how you use it, right?
Mm.
Because you may have certain expectations because you're feeling a certain way, but the information that comes out of it is telling you, oh, hey, if I adjust here and if I look at it from this and I apply this, I'm looking at. So remember, early in my first move where it says, what metrics are you paying attention to, right? And so if you look at it like that and become adaptable, you can focus on moves instead of moments.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Very good. Very good. All this is for discussion though.
Yeah,
Is to get people discussing. So I guess we up to number 3 now.
yes, sir.
All right, what's number 3?
You're gonna love this one right here. Build the right team.
Mm-hmm.
Now they go right people in the right seat. All right, I get it. But know your weaknesses so you can hire to fulfill those positions.
Absolutely.
Now, that's not hiring to fill those positions to just let me put you in a spot and go ahead and run off. No, because if you hiring for somebody or you putting somebody in the place of your weakness, or maybe you don't have a weakness, maybe that's just you don't no longer need to do that because you have other areas to focus on. You still have to make sure that you push the vision down the road, right? I think that's the most important piece. But um, you got to grow and you got to adapt. Now, building your teams, hiring people. Watch this. We talk about ecosystems, or the word ecosystems come into play. Do you have an internal team? Now, not internal to the business, but as a wraparound right outside of your business. What other professionals that you have in your network that you built, that's your team, where you can seek strategic advice? You can consult with different questions. You guys can do business together per se, right? Because there's the internal team, then there's then there's the team, right?
Yeah.
So that's move number 3. So what happens when loyalty is valued over capability in a team?
Well, I mean, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. And so, I mean, I'm going to go on the team structure to put a face on it a little bit. Most small businesses and the clients we work with start out either as a sole proprietor or a partnership. So it's usually 1 to 3 people, mostly like that. And the term team is usually when people hear the term team, they think employees. They think hiring. It's oh, that's my team. That's like that. What you just pointed out, and what what you said out there, speaking of team, you know what I'm saying? What we, yeah. So what people don't think about is what you just said, and you were being very, very cool about it. Because there's other aspects about that, your team. So when you read those great articles in Wall Street Journal and Fortune, Entrepreneur Magazine, Black Enterprise, wherever you consume your business stuff, TikTok, just random advisors out there on TikTok, wherever you are, people tell you you need to get this, you need to get this, you need to get a banker. Well, that's really your team. But there's other portions of this team. If you go back to one of the first things that you said, if it's something you don't know and you're not able to learn it or whatever, you need somebody on your team that you could get that. Like if you're terrible at spreadsheets, as an example, you need somebody on your team to handle your spreadsheets. You need somebody like that. Strategic partner. One thing for you to have a strategic partner, you have to have a strategy to have a strategic partner, because you have to understand what you're doing. So going into the question you ended with, people partner, they say, oh yeah, we're going to do business together, whatever, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, that doesn't mean you put them on the side, but you keep them in the Rolodex. You never know when you might need them. But your team, it really needs to be, when you're starting out on your early, you might be even late based on the side of your operation, needs to be the individuals or companies or vendors that allow you to reach your strategic and financial goals. That's what they're there for. That's what the point is. And I think we throw around so many words.
Yeah.
Trusted advisor.
Spell down.
My network.
SPELLBONUBOUND.
Yeah.
What was that song, yo?
K Solo. Spellbound. Yeah. No doubt. But like we use so many terms. But it's your people. It's your people. Like we have, I just speak for myself over the years, because I've been in the wilderness a long time. I haven't been inside corporate structure for a elongated amount of time. So I've met lots of people. And sometimes I forget. I've met lots of people. Like I just forget, but people do different things. And you start learning, okay, they do this, they do that, a lot of times I try to connect dots too. I'll say, well, hey, this person, you go talk to this person, y'all might need each other, something like that. But what it does is it builds, as our esteemed Cortastic says, it builds an ecosystem. That's your team. That's another version of the team. If I need to get something done, the point is so that you can stay focused on what you do and get that done. And then you have other people to assist you in whatever ways. But what I really wanted to get to is one thing that you didn't say, which wasn't self-promoting. It was very interesting that you didn't say this. Sometimes, no. At all times, you need somebody either in your profession or understands your profession to vent to bounce ideas off of, and to tell you it's going to be all right.
So that was one of my themes right there, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And so you in my head, brother.
I'm just saying. I mean, because it can't be said enough.
Yeah,
yeah. It just can't. Like we sit and we say, oh, you can't do anything by yourself. Right. But we think of the vocational aspect. We don't think of, and I say it, you got payroll tomorrow, you $5,000 short, and the phone ain't ringing.
Yeah.
Who you gonna talk to?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you're gonna have to talk to the people you owe, but well, at 9 o'clock in the morning, you still got hope. You under pressure. You are under immense pressure. You might have 2 days to get it. Yeah. Or you trying to get a check from somebody because you need to cover your own mortgage. You sitting up there, you calling them. They said, oh, yeah, I'll take care of it tomorrow. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You under pressure. Oh,
man. Add that to the systems and the services you providing that you got to deliver on, and your brain is cloudy, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, something's going to give.
Yeah.
But your mind is going to be thinking about collecting that money. I'll tell you that now. That's going to be foremost. I would love to sit here and tell you, and this is from personal experience, I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm a professional, and no matter what the situation is.
So you got to sit back with your arm up and you.
Yeah, I got to sit like that and say, I'm at peak performance. It doesn't matter what external stimuluses are happening.
Right.
I'll be on the same space, and I'll be able to
this game right here.
Yeah, I'll be able to laser focus, and it won't say anything. And no, the client won't say something to set me off. No, not at all. I'll be able to handle it all. All right, but I'm not going to tell you that because it's not true. You are under pressure. So your things, sometimes your mindset of everything that you were thinking systematically, process improvement, all that. You down $5 for some people, $10 for some people is $1,000. Guess what? Your brain's gonna be like, man, you gonna either be like, I need to get another client. You going down there. So without somebody to talk to you and say, yo, or I'd at least get that out and hash out and be like, oh, okay, all right, it's not, because nothing is ever as bad as it seems. You know what I'm saying? That's what my last year taught me. But without that person's part of your team.
True. Major part.
Definitely part of your team.
Major part.
You cannot carry this stuff on your own. Take it from me. I've tried it. I've done it to a point, but nah, man. You gotta go get you gotta have somebody on your team, man. You gotta have the team. Proud to the people. But I just thought I would say that because when you said that, I was like, yeah, yo, the team. So I yield.
No, good job, brother. Excellent job. Just for that, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give you.
Thank you. You're so kind, everybody. You're so kind.
Move number 4. Move number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to build leverage.
Yeah.
Negotiate and influence situations.
Yep. Yeah.
That goes to moves, not moments, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's a vocation. Is everybody does differently. I'm sure there are studies about what makes a good negotiator or a better negotiator, something like that. But you come up with your philosophy. I mean, my philosophy is I want what I want, but I really understand. Like there's places where you have the leverage, you go make the move, you go do it.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time. It's like putting the velvet glove over the iron fist. I'm not trying to knock anybody out, but the win-win. Well, some of the things I've taken I think it was one of the great courses of negotiation, but the win-win is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And here's the trick about the win-win. You might win, but you don't want the person to feel like they lost.
Right.
See, that's the trick to it all. It's like
unless you're in a straight up competition, then somebody got to win, somebody got to lose.
Yeah, that's a game, but we talking about
Yeah.
AI. We talking about we could apply this to customers, you apply it to vendors, apply it to partners, you can apply it to your family. Deal with the business. You don't want someone to feel like they lost. I mean, it's okay. All right, I gave, okay, got it. You deal with that, whatever. Next time, the other way. But to feel like, yeah, I got you. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to go anywhere with that. It's not going to work. It's not going to work in the long because you're not. I mean, imagine going back to try to have to deal with that person the next time. So anytime we've had that come up, when the relationship is done, then okay. Try to bring the hammer, whatever. It's done. I'm not, this is that. But I'm still not trying to hurt you. But it's just like I'm going to completely go the best for me. I'm not going, I'm not going to, something like that because it's done. Like this is a final negotiation. But yeah, that's it. This book is kind of heavy, man.
I mean, well, I just wrote out my thoughts on it, though. You know what I'm saying? I just pulled out pieces, and I wanted to make sure that I connect the dots. We're not just throwing books out there, right? Because anybody can just read a book and read the points of the book, right? But how do these books tie in together along with real life, right? Real life and for us, business is real life because, what we do is how we pay the bills, right? So, I want to be very, very intentional and strategic on how we lay out these book situations for people. You know what I mean? Especially before we start back up in busy season and we just go tax and accounting conversation hard. Everyone could go back to these last 3 to 4 or 5 episodes on these books and pull some pieces out and apply them, right? So, to the point of the building leverage, this is that, right? So understanding the rules and understanding the positioning, right? And these books allows you to get a grasp of some rules, how positioning works, with strategy and planning and implementation. You know what I'm saying? Because I move right into my other piece, my last piece here, or one of my last pieces, which is scaling with strategy. right? So you know, you don't just grow a business, you build a machine. And you build that first part and you move on to the next piece. Then you move on to the next piece. Then you move on to the next piece, right? So it's systems, you know, delegating, be able to delegate out, right? Automation is key because now we have AI technology, you know, that's a whole nother plan. And then one thing that I don't think we know, and we talk about it enough in community. Um, and it's a part of the game plan because it goes back to the earlier question, like, what is your motives for business, for doing business? Are you fear-based? Are you, you know, et cetera, right? Succession planning.
Duh.
You run a business. What way, right? You know, like what's the end look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does the end look like? And succession is just is succession is a flow. It's a scale. It's a like walking up the steps. Step one, you gotta get to the fourth floor. You gotta get the first step to get to the first landing to the first floor, and then you repeat that process. That's succession. You're in succession. Music is succession. You know what I mean? Everything is about succession. You know, you cooking food. It's from, you know, washing it off if you got to wash it off, seasoning it, then heating up the pots or the oven or whatever, and then letting it cook. And you know what I mean? Temperature of the right. So it's all succession. How do we do that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got plenty on that.
I'm juicing you up right now. I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you will. You know you are too.
So
That's messed up.
So you move from operator. You always going to be an operator, right? It's like military. You're always going to be an operator, but operators move up. They're part of a succession plan where they become the lieutenants and the generals, the master chiefs. You know what I mean? To conduct a team, but they always operators. You always see you know, the frontline leaders are usually still in the game until they become super old and they got to go in the building and look behind the computer screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
always, this all ties back to what got you here won't get you there, right?
Yep.
Habits that help you build your business won't help you scale it. Now, that's my personal endearment right now. It's been for a while, right? What got you to help you build it won't help you scale it. That's next episode to come on that. We'll dive deeper into that conversation with Cole. But that piece is like I said, it's pretty deep. So I'll yield back to your.
Here you go. There's the setup. You throw it out there.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me give you this because we've experienced this in the last 2 years, right? What does it mean to build a business that runs without you? And we're not talking about thought. We're not talking about feeling. We're talking about actuality. When something hits the fan and you got to back out.
Oh yeah.
Right. We just had the experience with and we go kind of go through this a little bit. But one of my coaching clients had a situation. They had to back out for a minute, right? Slow down, actually, not completely back, slow down because something happened.
Yeah.
And they have other things in place to help. So we focused on trying to put certain systems and automations. That's what we're working on now. So if they got to back out again, it won't hurt their flow. But having a true engagement with that experience, now you're back to you there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I'm just checking the clock because I know you said you got a ad to go over.
Oh, you want me to do my ad now?
Yeah, go ahead and do the ad.
Yeah, and then we'll let you run, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this week, you know, we're talking about Chase HR Solutions that offers more than HR. They support businesses with operations, compliance, licensing, and project coordination. Whether you're opening a restaurant, managing growth, navigating human resource situations, they help you get it done efficiently and effectively. So visit Chase, hrsolutions.com, to move your business forward. Okay, and this is brought to you by Chase HR Solutions, Christy Vernay, who is the owner operator of that organization and a fellow board member of the Black Chamber of Commerce, Durham Greater.
So look, yeah, and that's somebody you might want to check on. See that? Well, I'm gonna bridge 2 points here. One is you're doing business. Most professionals offer some sort of free consultation. I'm not putting that in the words of them, but I'm saying it as someone running a business. This is how you learn stuff. Talk to people. Even if the consultation is $100, $200, $250, $300. Talk to people. Because you're going to get some information. So like HR, yeah, like a lot of things, you know how to be an employee. And you might even know how to be a boss. And I don't mean it in the
derogatory
cool
way.
Or in the cool way. A boss.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't mean that. But do you know how to have deal with HR, to deal with your people, HR? Do you know all about it? Do you know all the things? So you talk to somebody if you headed that way. But I say all this to say to go into your points, the succession and everything else. And we talked about, you mentioned it, starting with the end in mind. Now, my first official hard rock business, my father told me this. And he told me this. Did I listen? Of course I didn't listen. No, I didn't listen. Yeah, like that. So, I had a record store. That was really my second major venture, but we had a record store, and he used to tell me, you want to basically try to put $750 in your pocket every week and, build it as if you're going to sell it. Well, a lot of the things that you mentioned in there, I was in the la land of being in records, because my whole thing was really to have a record label. This is where we were trying to be. So I was in la land, did all that. So eventually it ended, whatever reasons. But now being in business with myself, people we consult with, think about the end. And you think about it in the beginning because it dictates how you're going to build. I'm big on this. Are you building a job for yourself? You have to be honest. Are you building a job for yourself that you feel like you're going to retire from because you want to follow that track of life? That I'm going to work on this. I'm going to make a living. Whoop-de-whoop. And I'm going to do that and be out. When I'm done, it's done. It's a wrap. There's nothing to be sold. I'm not going to tell anybody how to do anything. I might get some help. That doesn't mean you won't hire people. But I'm going to hire some people to get the jobs done so that when I'm done, I'm done. Self-employed. That's what we're doing. Are you building a business, a small business, that, hey, I have a team, a bigger team, an internal team, so more people handle the main functions? Because you got to have a team even if you're self-employed. You got to have a team. But you're building something that's scalable, that can run without you, that can be there, it doesn't have to be catastrophic. You can go on vacation and all the metrics are still met. Phones still being answered, leads are being followed up, work is being produced, or the store is open, people coming in, buying, without you there. That's this is part of it. That's small. That I define it as being a small business. That's really why I say small business before I even get to the scalability. You want a small business. You want a business that you do spend time there. I mean, you're there, like you're there, and you're there, but you can leave and it still runs. and somebody else knows what's going on. We have shared information. Other people know this. So it's a small business. It's harder than being self-employed, by the way. It is incrementally harder than being self-employed because sharing information like that with people that you have, you're relying on them, and you have to learn a lot. You have to learn a lot of skills. So that's two different things. Then third thing I say is more building an enterprise. And I don't say it from a revenue point. This is when I say it's scalable. This is when you start thinking about scalability, where it runs without you. Literally, it runs without you. You might. That's where you get all fly into the strategic planning and stuff. This is where you stay on vacation and it still works. Like you gone.
At that point, right?
Yeah.
The word vacation no more.
Yeah, it's like that's what I do. I show up here and there, and it's not, but that's places in somewhere that's so. I've seen people doing this, and that's when you get into multiple locations. That's when you have a team, 20 people. You don't necessarily even know everybody that works for you. Like now I'm saying that's still not a huge company, but it's doing it. It's there. It's scaled out. There's a way that we do this stuff. The jobs are laid out. People know what to do. You, as the founder or the owner or the starter, you're removed from the day-to-day stuff in a vocational manner. You're not vocationally doing the day-to-day stuff,
right?
But you still have the responsibility for the quality, like the philosophy, the culture. Why you doing
it? All of that.
Yeah, that's a third level,
and
that is something. The small business, and that is where you can get to succession because you got something to hand off. So, and I think about this practice of it being around after my death. I mean, knock on wood, God willing, I mean, we got a while, right? But what I'm saying is when I think about it, and that's an evolution for me to be like, no, I want to build something that's going to last. And this is a lot of reasons why it has to do with the accounting industry. But I think about it in terms of that. And I think that's and it affects decision making, but not in a bad way. It affects it's the way I look at things. It's the way
because you got a beyond. You actually have a beyond next thought process. It's
that's
true. Running a business is because succession planning for it to be living on. That's legacy. So you legacy driven, right?
Yeah.
So how do you implement what your strategy in your day-to-day operation of the business? A part of making that a part of your succession planning. So, like you said, that's a whole nother level. But I just wanted the people to know that that's actually an insert. Like you have to intentionally insert that in.
Yeah, and that's true. And I just think that everybody doesn't have to go there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have to. But that's kind of the enterprise thinking that if you're going to build something, some people say they want to leave something for their children to own. That's the other thing. Hey, listen, if you're building a business, your children might have gone off to school and got another trade, but guess what? They can own it. It's okay for them to own it. They don't have to work in it. They can own it.
Right.
And now you've left an asset for them because it's set up, it runs. I mean, without you, I mean, clearly, because, it runs without you, and it's something for your children. So without getting too far and start and previewing my financial flip side clips.
That's next.
Yeah, I'm just going to start putting financial flip side in everything now. I've just learned it's too much. We'll split it out when we need to. People run around here talking about this generational wealth stuff, and no one has sat down and identified what wealth is and how it works. Generational. When people say that, they say I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money and leave some money for somebody. But that's not money. Is not wealth. No, I'm gonna leave that one there. Yeah. So
learning is
So you have to think about it. If you're starting a business, what is your purpose? And I don't mean what you're doing. What when you get there. Just so if I ask the question to somebody, says, "So what are you doing?" Now I'm starting a business. Okay, so what are you doing? Well, I'm gonna refurbish so and so. Okay, what are you doing?
Why are you doing? What's driving you?
Yeah, well, you get you could put why. Maybe that's clarifying, but it affects how I advise you.
Right.
If you're doing a small, a self-employed venture, you got your thing, you got contracts, it's linear. I always say, I say that's like a company wrapped around the job. You might be an S corp. We throw S corp around you, boom. It's like company wrapped around the job. It's fine. You got different objectives. But if you tell me you got a business, all so on and so forth, okay, I see you. And I just laid out the definitions in my mind, which I've been working on. Hey, you tell me that, then there's certain things I'm like, hey, we got to learn something things. But what I'm running into the trouble is that I'm going down these paths, been down these paths. So sometimes I get a little further down the road than what I need to be talking about. So, it's kind of saying, but I say all this to say that the things that we share and the things that you shared today, they apply in different ways based on what you're trying to do.
So if I could quickly stab that point right there, that's about refining the mission of the business, right? Because you made a key point. Sometimes you go you're already further down the road than the advice you need to give based off somebody's perceived perception of why they're doing it or what are they doing, right? Yeah, and so, right. So again, what got you here won't get you there. So although the business is growing, it's automated, and we have processes, systems in place, there's still an audience out there that we still got to make sure that audience is not ours, right? Or we got to rule them out and say that they're not ours or they are ours. Let's figure out how to get them in here for the right messaging. And that's just an example of what it takes offline, consistently, daily, even when you sleep, when you're thinking about the business. I yield back.
No, yes. Well, no, you wrapped it up. I think that's a great way to wrap it up. I mean, yeah, it's but there's more to come. We're going to broach this topic because even within this production, hey, this is episode 91. We don't look, we doing our own little promo. It's not, we it's been a commitment to doing it, and it's, but part of it is to help people, but we work on it. And but even with this, there's in my mind, there's always like, how can other people be included on doing it, getting it done,
so it can grow. It can grow beyond us, right?
So so it can go beyond
that. Actions going on, and it's about refining it. It's so it can be consistent. It's a slow churn, slow burning. Man, I mean, I could go into you feeling like that other people are looking at you like, what are they doing? What is he doing? Why is she doing this? They slow. They're not really making no progress, but they're just judging you from the outside, not seeing what you're doing internally and because the slow churn, the slow burn eventually builds consistency down the road where you'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? But let me, it's 12 o'clock, we're top of the hour. I want to close off. I want to touch back on something really quickly, 1 minute for everybody, to the earlier point that you made when we talked about having someone to talk to in those moments, right?
You go.
So this is where I was going to leave this for the end. in crisis situations, as James has mentioned, you got to have somebody that you could talk to, right? And that's going to tell you, yo, it's going to be all right, right? And give you some, listen to your thoughts and help you bounce it out and get some clarity. But remember this, and this is neurologically proven. In crisis situations, we always regress back to our habits. So if it's not this book and any other book that we talked about, maybe it's professionals, maybe it's somebody that knows what they're doing. I always try to find information or do certain action that's going to lead me with clarity. Because our habits are the ones that is the most difficult to change, right? There's a book out there, we'll talk about it, Atomic Habits, and it talks about changing habits, right? Because you can't take something away without replacing it with something. And when we get into fight or flight mode, when the pressure is on, as James said earlier, we easily revert back to our old habits, not most times unconsciously. Or we consciously say, you know what, I'm comfortable with dealing with this situation in this habit. However, it's not productive at the end of the day down the road. And that's why I think, thinking 5 moves ahead is important, right? So ask yourself a couple questions, then we're going to jump off. Which 5 moves do you think you're the weakest at? How far are you currently planning, right? What's the one habit or mindset shift that will level up your next strategic move or just your next move? We can do away with the fancy words. And then ask yourself this: how does fear or uncertainty block your vision long term?
Now that's heavy.
On that note, we listen. HeywardCPA.com, biztherapycoaching.com. Reach out to us. Stay tuned for conversations with Kory. We actually have an episode coming up next week with our 3 co-hosts. So we'll link that to start linking some of those links to Heyward CPA, so you guys can roll right into conversations with Kory and vice versa. All right. If you got any questions for us, podcast at HeywardCPA.com. Submit your questions. Oh, we did get some questions from the previous the 2 previous episodes. For those that are watching, we're gonna get to your questions. We're gonna answer your questions possibly on the next episode. So stay tuned for that. But we need some additional questions from everybody else.
All right. Well, with that being said, you know the procedures. Peace.